Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Healy, and I'm the fire chief of the Moraga-Orinda Fire Protection District. I'm proud and privileged to stand here before you and the fine men and women behind me that are out in the field every day taking chances to protect the community. But protecting the community is much more than just putting out fires. It also has to do with community risk reduction initiatives. And there are a number of cooperating agencies and people here today, as already mentioned, Cheryl Miller and the Diablo Fire Safe Council, and of course all the fine men and women that work in the prevention side as well for CAL FIRE, East Bay Regional Parks, our district of course, Oakland Fire, Berkeley Fire, and all the other cooperating agencies here in the East Bay Hills. Community risk reduction is an important part of keeping the community safe, both from an educational and an enforcement perspective. We're very lucky here in the Moraga-Orinda Fire District that our community is extremely vigilant. They do an amazing job of making sure that their homes are protected from wildfire through a number of different initiatives, both with and without the support of the fire district, and mostly vegetation management during the spring and summer months. As Chief Whitmer indicated, having a defensible space around homes and eliminating areas that can lead to ember intrusion are the most important things that homeowners, residents can do. I want to thank everybody for being here today, supporting us, encourage continued cooperation. In the 10 years I've been with the district, it's just been an amazing cooperation between these agencies. My hat's off to their leadership and everybody in those organizations from top to bottom for their commitment to public safety. It just keeps getting better every year. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chief Ken Pimlott, the Director of CAL FIRE.
Thank you, Chief Healy. Thank you for taking the opportunity to be here today. We're going statewide this week through Wildfire Awareness Week to really get the message out to the public across the state that it is fire season. It's fire season year-round in California. You've heard the discussion about record levels of precipitation around the state. But don't let that fool you into thinking that there isn't a fire challenge in California. The grass, the 102 million or more dead trees in the central and southern Sierra, all of this is fuel ready to ignite when the conditions and the weather are in alignment. CAL FIRE, along with all of our partners, the 1,000 local government fire departments, our federal firefighting agencies such as the Forest Service, our partners with East Bay Regional Parks, and the many, many other organizations, fire safe councils, utilities, are all preparing and gearing up for fire season. We have been deploying CAL FIRE firefighters for the last several weeks, training and preparing for fire season. In the meantime, they're also out doing active fuel reduction projects. They're doing prescribed burning. They're creating fuel breaks, such as what we see behind us here, all working towards reducing the intensity of fires when they do occur. You've heard that 95% of fires are started by people. That means that we can prevent 95% of the fires that start in California. I often say that we as the fire agencies in California, we bring the offense. We're going to respond with that aggressive initial attack. Just as Chief Whitmer mentioned, we want 95% of our fires contained at 10 acres or less. But ultimately, we can't do our job unless all of you, the public, take care of your business as well. And you've heard about our campaign, Ready, Set, Go. You can certainly go to our website, Ready for Wildfire, and learn all of the things that you need to do to prepare for a wildfire before it occurs, as well as how to safely evacuate when the fire does occur. This year, I'm excited to talk about the Ready for Wildfire application. It's a recent application that is accessible both on Android and iPhone devices. You can download it through the iTunes app or the Google Play Store. It's free. Right now we have over 18,000 individuals who have downloaded it. Awesome website, or awesome application that allows every homeowner to learn what you need to do to prepare your home. It actually walks you through rating your home and the things you need to do to prepare defensible space, prepare an evacuation plan. There are how-to videos that are updated frequently so that you can get real-time information on how to prepare evacuation plans and the other things you need to do to keep your family and your community safe during a wildland fire. It also provides real-time fire information so you can actually know when there's a fire occurring in your area or even in other areas of the state so that you can stay informed on situations and know what's going on and be prepared to safely evacuate or react to a fire as needed. So again, we're here today with all the cooperating fire agencies, utilities, and others, the partners, getting the message out. We thank you for the opportunity to talk, and I'm certainly happy to now open it up to any questions you might have of me or any of the panel behind me. So the question is, what are the conditions this year that we're most concerned about? It's a number of things. Certainly we've had significant rainfall and snowfall in many areas of the state, which has delayed sort of that onset of the peak fire season like we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. But the fuel loading, the dead vegetation is still out there. Once that dries down, we still have thousands and thousands of tons of dead vegetation that will burn later this summer. What's different this year is all of this grass. The last 3 or 4 years without rainfall, the grass hasn't grown. Well, this year it is 3, 4, 5 feet tall in many areas across the state. It is literally the kindling, the wick, that will carry a fire into this larger vegetation. We already have had almost 8,000 acres burned since January 1st across California. That's significant. That's well ahead of where we were last year. It's because we have this very receptive grass that can simply be ignited by a spark, a car pulling over with its catalytic converter igniting the grass. So that's the big difference between this year and last year. And obviously weather conditions and fire starts will dictate what happens later this year. Yes? Yes, I do. So I'll give you kind of a brief overview, then I will turn it to one of my colleagues to talk specifically about the FEMA project here. But in general, we don't distinguish between exotics or native vegetation. We are simply looking at what the arrangement of that vegetation, or fuel as we call it, and its flammability, and how we manage that. And we're working on projects statewide to reduce the volume of vegetation or fuel so that fires won't run through the crowns of these trees at high intensity into the urban areas. It will be lower intensity, staying on the forest floor, a fire that can be much more manageable and put out much more quickly because it's lower intensity. Those are the things we're looking at statewide, but I will turn it over to one of my colleagues to talk specifically about this project here.
Thanks, Chief. My comments on the FEMA grant will be limited. The subject matter expert on that would be Cheryl Miller from the Diablo Fire Safe Council, but I can tell you that it's been a challenge and some level of frustration in trying to administer that grant for a variety of different reasons. But on a going forward basis, we're going to continue to pursue things like that to try to reduce overgrown vegetation anywhere we can. This is obviously a complex issue because the Oakland-Berkeley Hills encompasses many different agencies and different stakeholders that have an interest in it, as well as some of the environmental groups. So if there's further questions about that, maybe we could do that after the main press conference, and we can take questions that are more specific or more technical. Stephen Healy, Moraga-Orinda Fire District, Fire Chief.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, with that, I'd like to invite Captain Head back to the podium.
Thank you, Chief. Today we have a very special presentation from PG&E. If I could have the PG&E representatives and the Diablo Fire Safe Council come up.
Hi everybody, my name is Les Putnam. I'm the local PG&E public safety specialist. Our job is mainly to interface with local fire in assisting with emergencies as well as providing for public safety for gas and electric emergencies. We're pleased to be here today to present this check for $75,000 to the Diablo Fire Safe Council. PG&E has been partnering, thank you. We've been partnering with the California State Fire Council, CAL FIRE, many local and state agencies are for multiple years now in assisting with the fire safe wildland fire presentations that we've been doing and assisting. Since 2014, we all know we've been inundated with a drought, which has dramatically affected the mortality of our trees. PG&E's been very effective in removing over 1 million trees a year that have been damaged through the drought issues, and working with CAL FIRE to make those areas safe. As part of our effort with the local Fire Safe Council in support of the projects, high fire risk counties throughout the area, and also in reducing the California wildfires locally. We are pleased to again provide $75,000 this year. To date, we've actually been able to produce about almost $500,000 of funding to the California State Fire Safe Councils locally as well as throughout the state. Over the last 3 years, the funds for the Diablo Fire Safe Council will be used for 3 different projects throughout Contra Costa and Alameda County, and we're very pleased to be able to assist with that. We also want to remind California residents to be wary of the wildland season that's coming up. Also remind you to check the CAL FIRE website and start and download their app, which will help assist in maintaining important information regarding wildland fires in the Bay Area, as well as make sure that you have the proper clearance for your fire safety and are prepared for emergencies with emergency first aid kits and safety kits, as well as preparedness for communications with your family and having a safe place to stay during wildfire season. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much. Present this check for $75,000 to the Diablo Fire Safe Council.
That concludes the news conference. The speakers and guests will be available for one-on-one interviews. And thank you all for coming.